Hello students, this is Mr. Panico and I'm providing this video for you during the Crustal Rock Age Quiz to help you with the quiz. Basically the quiz is just going over what you've already learned in the Plate Tectonics lesson. That is, there were 3 stages to the discovery of plate tectonics and the acceptance of the theory of plate tectonics. The first stage, Alfred Wegener figured out that all the continents were probably all together in one big continent at one time, because he saw how South America fit into Africa and how the animals in South America, their fossils were also in Africa, and the same with India and Antarctica and Australia. So he put it all together, and he was a very forward, intelligent thinker, and so he figured it out before everyone else. But not everyone believed him, so how did finally other scientists accept his theory? Well, then we go to stage 2. Okay, so in the discovery and acceptance and the evidence of plate tectonics, the second stage was when scientists discovered seafloor spreading. It took about 20 years to do that research from 1950 to 1970. And you see here in this illustration, 2 plates are separating, and in the middle, there's new magma coming up, creating brand new crust. And that was a revelation and a realization for the scientists. Hey, Alfred Wegener seems to be correct, and here's some more illustrations showing you how oceanic plates are separating with new crust being created. Therefore, the plates move. The continents are sitting on the plates, so the continents do move. Okay, so here's more illustrations of that, and here's an outline of the plates. You already know this from the lesson. Hence, stage 2 is seafloor spreading and the evidence of the plates and the continents moving. Okay, so what's stage 3? Okay, so the third stage of the proving of the theory of plate tectonics came when scientists discovered that as the ocean plate goes underneath the continental plate, large sections of it break off the ocean plate, stick onto the continental plate, and that's called accretion, breaking off the one plate and sticking onto another, or accreting onto another plate. And those big, large sections were called terrains. All right, so now they're getting a deeper understanding of the mechanics of plate tectonics in the third stage. And so then they realized that there are older terrains from ancient times in the continent, and they found areas of the continent. Let me scroll down. So here's the older terrains, and they found areas of the continent that were so old that it must have been from billions of years ago when those areas of the continent were interacting with other continents. Okay, so they mapped out ages of crust, and that's the important point here, the different ages of the crust. So the terrains from the ocean plate are about 500 million years old, and then continents interacting with other continents are roughly 1 to 2 billion years old. And then there's always an area of a plate that had very little interaction with any other plates for billions of years, and the regions are called cratons. Okay, cratons. So cratons are 2.5 billion to 3.5 billion years old, and they're well preserved because they never bumped into another plate. Okay, so now we have this idea of a map of ages of different areas of crust, or different ages for different regions of crust. And that is shown here in this illustration, where you see you have brand new crust at the center of the ocean, and then you have older crust going underneath the continental crust, which is about 100 to 170 million years old. And then over here you have the terrains, and the terrains are about 500 million years old. And then you have this inland crust, continental crust, that had interaction with prior continents long time ago, and they're anywhere from 1 to 2 to 2.5 billion years old. And then you always find some area in the continental crust where there was no interaction with past plates for 3 billion years, 3.5 billion years, and those are called the cratons. So you have the cratons, you have regions of prior activity, and then you have the terrains that are sticking onto the continental crust. You have the subduction zone, and you have the brand new creation of oceanic crust. Okay, so here we are, same illustration I just showed you, a little clearer. Just take a good look at it, and then underneath, so you have region A, B, C, D, and E, and then underneath I'm explaining those regions, which basically I just did. And that's what this quiz is about. This quiz is about you're explaining to me these 5 different activities or regions of continental crust and oceanic crust in terms of their age. Okay, brand new crust about 100, B's, so A's brand new crust, B's crust about 100 to 170 million years old, C is the terrain along the shores of the continents, and that those terrains are about 500 million years old. The inland crust is 1 to 2 billion years old, and the cratons are 2.5 to 3.5 billion years old. That's it. Okay, so that's what this lesson is about. Just study that and then tell me about that in the quiz. Okay, thank you very much.